everyone, welcome back. So today I wanted to do kind of a quick update and talk a little bit more about something I touched on in the last video that I filmed. And that's about planning through transitions, because I am finding myself in kind of a transition right now. So just to quickly catch you up, I have finished taking my classes for my real estate license, which was a big thing because there were 9 classes that I needed to get through. So I knew that was going to be a chunk of time. So right now I'm working on my application, getting all my experience, because I am transferring experience from a different state. So I'm trying to get that all put together so that I can get approved to take the real estate licensing exam. So with that, because I have basically spent since the middle of June basically completely focused on studying, now that's done. And with that being done, now I have all of this extra time that I'm trying to figure out, what do I do? And it's time that I don't necessarily want to lose. So that being said, I'm trying to figure out how best do I set myself up for this transition so I don't end up with what I remember from after college, which was you graduate and then you're like, wait, now what? Like, I don't know what to do, because all of a sudden your evenings are free again, you're not having to study, you don't have to go to class, and I just remember feeling very lost every time, because I have 2 degrees, so both times I graduated I had that feeling. So I am actually working on setting up that transition for myself ahead of time so that I don't feel that lostness that I could potentially have. So if you watched my last video, you'll know that I actually transitioned almost completely into the 2 Hobonichi weeks. I am finding that using this as my work planner is still working really well for me, doing the daily log things in the back, planning my week out here, so that's working. So this is not changing at all. And if you're interested in seeing how this is set up, I'll link the video down in the description box below. But what is kind of changing again is how I'm using these 2. So I did miss, even though I kind of experimented for the month of September, just strictly going into Hobonichi weeks, I did miss having a place to write things down. I had previously used a spiral notebook, and so I think I've kind of taken that spiral notebook idea and made this less precious, if you will. Like, I'm fine using this as just kind of a place to put my thoughts. So let's start with kind of how this is set up. So this is a Planner Perfect notebook and inserts. And I do have the October stuff in here. I have done walkthroughs of how this is set up before. This is my 12th month, just kind of plan ahead sort of thing. This is the October book, which I'm going to walk through really quick, how I'm using it, and then my autumn book, which I'm also going to go through. And I did take out the menu planner, because I'll show you what I'm doing with menu stuff in here. And I replaced this with the Christmas planner. So this is where I'm going to start planning out Christmas stuff. So the last 2 years, I've actually traveled for all the holidays in the winter and / fall, Thanksgiving and Christmas basically. This year we're going to be home. So I want to kind of take my time and enjoy the seasons instead of frantically going hither and yon. So anyway, let's go back to here. So how I'm using October. This has not changed. This is kind of my my monthly overview. But what I am doing differently is how I am setting up these pages. So I did just jump into this October 1st and 2nd, so Saturday and Sunday. What I'm going to start doing in here is a weekly review. And so let me jump forward. So what I'm doing, this is next week. I have week 40, which is October 3rd through 9th. I have what my priorities are for the week. So I am going to go ahead and look at this as both work and personal priorities. But then I have a spot for kind of things that I just need to get done this week. So I have a general place to keep those as they come up. Mail that I'm anticipating that I'm going to be getting, a spot for meal planning, just so I have a copy of it in here for dinners. My Hobonichi Weeks has all the meals. I have a spot where I write down what exercise I'm planning to do, and then I have a spot down here at the bottom for what's going on next week. Because of how the days fall, I wanted Monday to be on the right-hand page. I am doing 1 page per day. So I don't know what's going to go here yet. Well, I'll figure that out. So when I figure it out, you'll probably hear about it the next time. So as I said, 1 page per day. And then the weekly review. Now this weekly review will probably look a lot like what Moxie Life has, like wins, lessons, changes I want to make for following weeks, that sort of thing. So it'll probably be a series of prompts that are short like that. It's not going to be a massive journaling section. It may also be the things from these days that I didn't get done. This may just be not only from this planner, but things that got put in here, because this is still the thing that comes with me because it does fit much better into my purse. So this is more of something that stays at home. So this is how I'm changing that I'm using this planner. It is still the scripting method. I just find that honestly, when I use 2 pages per day, I usually would have these giant gaps where I was doing work stuff, which I don't keep in here. So I can condense my daily things into 1 page. So that's why I went to that. So that's how I'm going to start using this. So we'll see how that works. And then my autumn book, I think I have flipped through this before, but this is part of kind of my transition idea as far as really being intentional with this next season. So I have finally sat down and kind of figured out what my autumn goals are now that we're kind of actually getting into quarter 4. So I have the things for my Texas real estate license that I know I need to get done. Obviously I want to keep posting to YouTube, things I want to do for personal health and wellness, actual work items. I don't mind having all of my goals in this section. So I do have some things for work. So part of my transition is that I want to start working on budgets and business plans. So we have not updated the business plan for the 2 companies we currently have. Well, okay, the one we've had the longest, I don't think has had the business plan updated. If it has been updated, it's only been once, and it was probably maybe 10 years ago. So it's time. It's time to revisit all that and make sure we don't need to update anything. We brought some parts of that forward when we split off our maintenance division. So that I actually need to finish the business plan for. It's kind of half done. So I'm going to be working on that. And then the new company will have its own. So I'll be working on that for the next quarter. And then I'm also coordinating 3 services in the next 6 months. And the first one's in December. So I have the Stations of the Nativity service here as well. And there will probably be additional things that will get filled in here. This was just kind of first blush the other day as I was going through. Next I have my autumn bucket list, which I've checked 1 thing off of. I'm hoping to check some more of those things off here over the next few weeks. I have my morning and evening routine, which I've added yoga practice into. Because it has been a bit more stressful with things that are going on at work, I have found kind of that morning yoga practice to be actually very important for my mental health. It helps me kind of start off the day in a more zen mood or attitude. Either way, it kind of de-stresses me a little bit, so I have a moment to myself before I just jump into work things. So weekly blocks, this is another part of the transition thing. So when I filled this out, I had all of my study blocks. So I am splitting these between old and new companies now. So that way I'm not losing the time that I had set aside for studying. I'm actually still going to be very intentional about it, but what I'm working on during those times is going to be a little different. So these things have not changed really. As you can see, I didn't get September goals in, but I did put in my October goals. So I went back to 2021 and kind of figured out, or not 2021, I went back to my quarter 4 goals and took these things and kind of broke them down and split them out a little bit. So that's where I got these. And then I have a few, which this will get blurred out because Gary does tend to watch my videos sometimes. And then I'll have a spot for November goals and things coming up for November. So I did start making notes for Thanksgiving, kind of our basic menu, which we're creatures of habit, creatures of tradition. So this generally doesn't change very much. So I have notes because my mom is coming into town for that day. And then these are just blank for right now. And then I had received this book, but I have not gone through it yet. So I just started jotting notes down in here. So holiday and Christmas events that we might want to do. This was a to-do list from the Organized Mom. She has like a Christmas checklist that she walks you through to be ready by December 1st, which would be lovely. So this was just a list of kind of to-do things regarding that. And then to-dos for the holiday time frame. So this may not be related to Christmas, but it's things that have to be done kind of around that time. So the rest of these pages are still blank, but that gives me room to make more notes and things like that. So Christmas planner, as I mentioned, is still blank. A lot of this first section is just like gift lists and things. So I probably will use that, but instead of using this back section as Christmas memories, it's probably going to be more like lists of things I want to do. I may put memories in there as well, we'll see. But I started making a list of things I wanted to put in here that I wanted to have, again, to reference for next year. So bucket lists, like a Christmas bucket list, celebrations, traditions that I want to potentially start or continue. Things I need to buy for home, like it's been forever since I bought wrapping paper, so I probably need to go through. With us being out of town a lot the last couple of years, we just actually mailed a lot of our stuff through Amazon, so a lot of it we're just like, hey Amazon, wrap it for us. So in this instance, if we're having Christmas at our house, I'd like to be able to do that myself. So this is how I'm using this planner right now, is just kind of as a place to, review things, set up the upcoming week, kind of have a more broader view of what's going on for the quarter and the season, and then just to start preparing kind of for the major holiday that we have coming up. Now, as far as the Hobonichi weeks, I did wrap up the end of September just kind of as I was before. So just kind of daily log sorts of things. I mentioned I was generally getting 2 days per page, some notes interspersed in there as well, and then the menu planning. So I squished 3 days so I could finish September out and then move on to the next one. So what I have done is, this is where October is starting. So I actually have all 4 full weeks of October set up here for meal prep. So, yep, you can see it. I just want to make sure, because I did put this in pencil, because I do change things around a bit. So I basically drew in the Hobonichi week lines, and then kind of the box that they have here, I just put it here. So this is more of when I'm planning out what meal prep I need to do, when I need to pull things out to defrost for a future day, I'm putting that information here. So I can reference this when I'm looking at the day as far as what do we need to get done. Down here at the bottom, this meal prep is more, so today's Sunday. So meal prep I need to do today for the upcoming week will come in down here. So this is more like in advance, week ahead meal prep. So this way I can track. I am trying to eat a little healthier. So everybody has kind of the thing that makes them feel good about themselves. And so for me, I'm trying to rein back in. So I'm not eating so much sugar, because I have a sweet tooth. I can't help it. So anyway, so this is how I'm laying this out. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in each one. LO is leftovers. And I do abbreviate because I tend to eat the same thing for breakfast. And then lunch is usually leftovers from the night before, just depending on how many leftovers we have. Sometimes I eat the same thing several days in a row, but anyway, so that's how that's set up. So because I am doing a lot of the scripting method in the other planner, this is probably going to be more of kind of like a to-do list on the fly, like while I'm out. Yesterday we drove down to my mom's house, And while we were in the car, she said, hey, I need 4 AA batteries. Can you stop and get it? So I pulled out my planner, wrote down 4 AA batteries, and we got her more than that because I figured she probably would need them at some point. So, and I've already been grocery shopping for the day. I did plan my meals. I have not planned out meal prep yet. So, similar situation to before. If I haven't checked it off on a day before, I'm not going to move it forward to the next day as long as I'm kind of still in the same area, because I can look back and see what I still have to do. So this is going to become more of like a quick daily checklist, especially if I'm out and about, because I don't want the other planner to be just a to-do list. I want it to be more mindful than that. So I don't mind having another place to keep the to-dos that I need to get done for the day beyond what I've already planned. So that's how I am planning things out. I'm trying to be intentional about setting up the things that I want to work on. So I am getting very much back into goal setting and moving those goals forward and trying not to let myself flounder, since I've now finished that major part of the real estate license goal. So I'm trying to get myself pre-planned and set up, and actually 4 days over the next month I'm teaching out of town. So that's going to take up some time too, because there are property management classes for the Certified Apartment Manager certification. I will have prep work to do for that as well, so that will take up some of my time also. Anyway, that is where I am with everything I have going on. I'm scripting again because I like kind of planning out my day a little more thoughtfully than just a to-do list. I have a spot for menu planning and more of like the day-to-day, get things done while I'm out, know what's going on so I can know if I have, can do appointments, things like that. And then, of course, I still have my work planner, which is also working very well, just as it was before, kind of with a modified bullet journal sort of method. So I hope that was helpful, and I'd like to encourage you also. I mean, you've seen me switch in and out of planners a lot. If you see that something may not be working for you in your next season, feel free to go back to something you were using before. A lot of these planners are good for a year, so if you need to switch in and out in order to be efficient and effective at what you need to get done, that's not a problem. Like, a lot of people are just so intent of, I have to be in one planner for the entire year, and that's a worthy goal, and if that's something you want to do, that's fine. That's something, if you can make that work, that's great. For someone like me who goes through seasons where I don't have a lot going on, so I can be in something that has less room or less flexibility, and then I come into a more busy season where I need a little more room, a little more flexibility, and a place to just jot my thoughts down and get them out onto paper so that I can process them more effectively. I think do what works best for you. That would be my encouragement, but don't feel like you have to be stuck in something if it isn't working for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. If you enjoy this sort of planner-related content, I encourage you to consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!